Hello there. Welcome back to Gathering Folds. Today is a day where I get to just fold a new pattern that I'm excited to fold. This pattern is in the same tiling as Lens Case, this other new pattern that I'm really excited about. And let me show you the tiling itself. So this is a tiling that starts with a hexagon, hexagon, rhombus, and triangle. Just like a bunch of those that I've taught in Advent of Tess. And then it continues the pattern with a rhombus connected to the triangle in a different orientation that functions as a position of twofold rotational symmetry in the broader pattern. And then we've got this cluster of 4 triangle twists. Now, you don't need to worry about any of that. I'm going to be doing the folding here. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I've got my eye on the chat, so feel free to ask questions as I go. This is more of a demonstration of how I fold my big pieces than a tutorial, so I will not be marking on the paper and I will not be explaining every single step, although I will probably explain a good bit of it. So one of the cool things about this pattern, at least I'm pretty sure, haven't actually done it yet, is that the tiling breaks are going to line up with the edge of the paper on an aligned grid. So hopefully I'll get a nice pleated border, even though that tiling that we looked at does not have true tiling breaks, much less ones that are aligned with the repeats. But I'm choosing, like I did with this one, to forget about aligning the repeats with the edge and try and align those pseudo tiling breaks and then convert anything that is cut off into the smaller twist. Welcome, Dr. Epinephrina. Welcome, Erlu. Glad you could join us live. Or, yeah. You are what make it a us. And if you're curious about the grid, this is 80 divisions, standard aligned grid, which makes it kind of small, kind of tricky to get that twist into place. But there's the teeny tiny hexagon tower. And shunk. There it goes. Luckily, I did unpack my bone folder last night. I went and gave a talk and demonstration to a group of artists. And luckily, I brought my bone folder back upstairs. So we're starting the same way as Sawtooth. And that one I taught in Advent of Tess 2023. It's also starting the same way as Quicksand, which I taught last week. Is that a coincidence? No, it is not. But unlike Quicksand, this guy, I mean, it has extremely mild flagstone motifs. Some triangles will touch on the back. And you'll notice I'm saying this with confidence without ever having folded the pattern. That's because my brain more or less functions as an origami simulator these days. And this will be, I mean, it's a pattern that has many parts to keep track of. There's the hexagon, rhombus, triangle close to the center. There's a second rhombus, and then there's 2 more triangles in the cluster of 4, which makes 6 twist locations. And I chose to fill those all with basic twists, so closed rhombus, closed and open triangle, closed hexagon. Whoop. Here we have our first triangle wrap that wanted to not go. So, ooh, I can get it from this side. Nice. And getting rhombus number 6. You might notice, if you're familiar with my videos, that when I'm folding for myself, my hands are much more in the way of what I'm doing. I am really not putting effort into making the folding visible here. Okay, so we got that little guy. That's as far as the camera will zoom. And now triangles. We do get a true tiling break here. I believe it's our last one, but I'd have to double check the tiling to be sure. Often with these where it's squashing all the triangles, I'll do all of them and then use the bone folder instead of picking up the bone folder between each one, like I did for the first 2. Then let's see. My crease pattern is drawn from this side, so that'll be easier to see what's next. Got rhombus, got the triangle, next rhombus fits in here with a triangle wrap. For those of you who are counting the references to do it again yourself, that's a single wide pleat, and we're aligning these guys in the same direction. And squash that triangle. And it's gonna, okay. And this is what I mentioned about the very small flagstone motif over here. Okay, so I've got this set of parallel pleats. Actually, yeah, so I already worked that. Let's go. I worked this set. Let's go to this one. And okay. I'm gonna look at the tiling to see what the heck I need next. So, ooh, I get another tiling break. Cool. Folding out to here. So I'm gonna get 3 of the triangles from that set of triangles. Cool. And rhombus and 3 triangles. Okay. Let's see. So if I want to start up here and work my way down, the next thing on this pleat is a closed triangle. And end up with a tube there. Yes. And then open triangle with the corner coming to the corner of the closed triangle I just put in, and a triangle wrap on the other side. And triangle with compound wrap, which is going to the next rhombus. And pop. And iterate. Cool. And by the way, my playlist for today is classical guitar masterpieces. wonder if it would be easier to set up the open triangle now that I know exactly where it goes. It feels like an easier wrap. I mean, it's the same contents. I just have more freedom to open stuff up when I don't already have that closed triangle on the back. And I'm not flipping the paper over as many times. So yeah, this is turning out quite nice. And all of these triangles will belong to something like that. That's nice. Yeah, definitely easier to get that triangle wrap in at this stage. It's nice. At this point, we've seen all of the different positions there are to see in the pattern. So I can always find a reference for what I'm going to do next in the existing pattern. This is really my favorite part of folding tessellations. Seeing the idea come into being one bit at a time and making it happen. Okay, so next string, start by finishing this cluster of triangles. That calls for the pointy end of a rhombus coming to the corner of the triangle. So there's two rhombi at each of these corners. That one matches with that. And don't need to fold it the whole way because that would add an extra plate there, and I'm not convinced that I need to. So that's a triangle. This one I already have the compound wrap, so that can definitely be a whole rhombus. Interesting. Okay. So this guy is the same as this guy. And next thing is the rhombus. And I'm going to do my trick of setting up both the triangle wraps. That rhombus is in that orientation. Wait, what's going on? Oh, okay, cool. And I'm not convinced I need to fold the whole thing. I do need both of those triangles on either side. Then, that guy again. Okay. Yeah, Erlu, we've got the closed hexagon and then two distinct positions of the closed rhombus on this side and the open triangle, and all closed triangles on the other side. And the things like this one that I'm setting up as three-way intersections here will become closed rhombi. It's just not time for that yet. And how do I know it's not time? Well, they can be laid down as three-way intersections. Therefore, they can wait to be finished until the next ring. Basically a case of they can, therefore they must. And yeah. And apologies if you're catching any of the lawnmower noise. And like this one can't be laid down as a three-way intersection. It's a compound wrap. And so it gets to be a full rhombus when the previous two did not. You could also remember that as the ones in the stack get to become full rhombi, and then the others that are going to be like around on these sides do not. Multiple ways to remember things. Let's see. We're getting around. We have 2 more sets of parallel plates to go. Or I have. I don't know what you're doing. I love the crackle of the grid. So smooth out those pleats. Ooh. I still need to make a flower tower, actually. But it sounds like Skytone is a good paper to use for it. That's nice to hear. Is that actually? No, it's whatever. Yeah, that's a relief early that you haven't made this pattern yet, because I haven't made it yet either. It's fun to come up with all these new things. I'm glad you like it. Let's see. Next, do I want to do both of these rhombi at the same time? Maybe. Yeah, I think I do. With the triangle wrap between. Which means I'll probably get the third at some point. This ring. And triangle. Oh, there are some rules for pseudo tiling breaks, such as when you encounter a triangle, you can always fold it. When you encounter a rhombus, you can sometimes fold it. And when you encounter a hexagon, you can never fold it all the way in the first pass. This one will have third pleat going out here. And now I've got 3 of these half rhombi set up in a row. And sure, I could fold them one at a time, but this is my personal folding style we're talking about, and so these are going to all be set up at once. One thing to check if on that setup your pleats are bunchy is if your triangles are trying to mash themselves, your triangle wraps are trying to mash themselves into the other triangles. Got to be layered nicely. But yeah, this ring around the center is going to go fast. At least it's going to feel fast. Notice that we have not folded an open triangle twist in this ring or the previous ring. Those are our rare twists for this pattern. You'll notice that I'm jumping all the way here to the top of the stairs to start setting this up. It just feels easier to get that next wrap in place. Not sure precisely why. But yeah, we went 1, 2, 3, 4 rings around the center to get to the next repeat of the center. That sounds about right for one of my patterns. And yet it's all basic twists and basic wraps. And if you joined me for advanced twist techniques this year, then you'd know my argument for why we can find infinitely many patterns that fit that description. Basic twists, just in new arrangements that have longer distances between repeats. Okay, this is the last set of parallel plates for this. Bring around the center and have an extra rhombus down here. So there's some extra layers that I'm punching through. And I open nothing that I do not need to open. Going for precision movement of the paper. Now we're due for some more open triangles. Okay. Yes, specifically open triangle right there. And I have options. I'll do it closed triangle first, see what happens. Huh. And finish the hexagon and give it a spin. And that probably three-way intersection above, triangle below. Can you tell I've done a lot of similar patterns? Yeah. So the open triangle's on that one. This has a rhombus, but I'm betting that's going to be a rhombus that sits as a three-way intersection for a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and do the open triangle. So notice that the pleat that came down from this has been shifted over. As I go further and further along this edge, of course pausing to go and fold these triangles. And while I'm over here, I may as well do the next one too. This is going to, this one's actually going to maintain the mountain in the same place, but the valley's going to flip to the far side of that pleat. We're just in the process of passing that contraction down the row and resolving things as we go. So there, it's passing from here down 3 grid divisions. And then notice that line staying in the same place while we resolve the hexagon. Well, I resolve the hexagon. And then it passes down and now is part of the next set of parallel plates. Kind of like a printer, but you know, much more complicated. Okay, so given what I learned on the last edge, I'm going to go ahead and do the open triangle. And put in this 3-way intersection as I'm putting in the triangle and then the wrap. And triangle. Triangle. Full rhombus. resolve the hexagon. And next stitch, and oh, an hour has gone by already. But I want to keep folding. And yeah, I was never gonna finish this in an hour. That's for sure. Part of the fun. Yep. These two three-way intersections are going to be a pair of rhombi on the next ring. They get to set up together, which probably means I won't get the third in that ring, or it'll be set up as a three-way intersection. Let's see, I have two more half hexagon tubes. So two more sets of parallel pleats for this ring. Oh yeah, time definitely passes differently when you're focused on something fun. Time always passes faster when I'm folding one of these new patterns on a live stream. So here I have even more pleats that I'm crossing with this fold. Often when I finish a ring around the center, I'll stop and take a backlit photo just with my ceiling lights or the window to post on Instagram in my stories. But I have not been doing that, and so I have no clue what the backlighting looks like on this piece. So we shall all find out very soon when I finish this ring. Oh, you'll also notice that when I do these triangles on the back, sometimes I do a wrap and sometimes I don't. The trick is if the pleat is folded towards the triangle, you don't do a wrap. If the pleat's folded away, then you might do a wrap. Okay. And triangle. This is a really fun pattern of triangles. It looks kind of unpredictable, but we know it's very precisely predictable. There's 3 sets around these open holes, 2 around these middle slits, and 6 around the hexagons. So that's what's going on. Get some light in here. Oh, nice. So it's those kind of saw blades. They're connected to each other with open space in between. I like this. And cool stuff from the back too. You can really see these kind of meta triangular areas. I'm seeing in the chat, can you make a pizza cutter? Need one for my pizza. You're a real physicist, aren't you? And I'm actually not a physicist. I kind of moonlight as a mathematician. Did my undergrad in geology. But yeah, definitely the math speaks to me. And I've got a lot more grid, so this is going to be another probably couple hours of folding time for me over the next couple days. And yeah, I really like how this is turning out. And we can also kind of verify that this kind of folding front line is looking real parallel to the edge. That's nice. So yeah, definitely big grid for repeats. You could get one set of repeats in 64 divisions. I just did 80 because I also wanted a border and wanted to get a little further out. We'll see how many repeats I actually get. And I'll be sure to post the photos on Instagram. So happy folding, everyone. And see you next week. And let's see, what am I doing next week? Got it in my notes. Just gotta find where in said notes it is. Oh yeah, talking about supplies for Advent of Tests. Got a bunch of cool new supplies this year that already have the hexagons cut out. So that is what I'll be talking about, and see you next week. Yeah, paper pasta. There actually there is a project that I heard about that would make pasta that ships as flat sheets, but then when you drop it in boiling water, it curls up in different ways because of folding. So it is in your future. So happy folding, everyone, and see you later.